Náš nebeský Otče, chceme Ti poďakovať za to, že opäť môžeme pristúpiť k Tvojmu slovu a študovať tak to, čo nám chceš zjaviť, a chceme ťa poprosiť o Svätého Ducha a o to, aby si nás viedol aj počas tejto chvíle. O to prosím naše srdcia. Chceme Ti za to poďakovať, že môžeme mať túto príležitosť a že si nás vyvolil, a prosím, daj, nech nepohrdneme tým, čo nám Ty chceš zveriť, ale nech to padne do dobrej pôdy, a prosím ťa o to, aby sme boli ochotní si vzorať srdcia podľa Tvojej vôle, tak ako sme včera sa mohli sa naučiť, a tak sa chceme odovzdať do Tvojich rúk v mene Pána Ježiša Krista.
Okay, so we have arrived in our time.
Takže prišli sme do nášho času.
So just to repeat that point one more time.
Aby som zopakovala ešte.
How do we know our time period?
Ako spoznáme vlastne, čo sa deje v našej dobe?
What is happening at the end of the world?
Čo sa deje na konci sveta?
It's by us going back to the prophets.
To je, keď my vlastne sa vrátime naspäť k tým prorokom,
considering their time and circumstances,
zvážime ich čas a okolnosti,
and bringing them in our time period.
A prinesieme ich do našej doby.
But we can only apply them correctly in our time period.
A môžeme ich správne aplikovať do našej doby,
if we also know what is happening in our time period.
Ak my rozumieme tomu, čo sa deje v našej dobe.
And this is where we've been what we've been missing.
A toto je to, čo nám chýbalo.
This is the last puzzle piece we've been missing.
Toto je ten posledný kúsok púca, čo nám chýbal.
We knew a lot of the Bible stories and applied them on our prophetic line.
Už sme poznali mnoho biblických príbehov a aplikovali ich na líniu.
But we had neglected to understand in detail external events.
Ale zanedbali sme detailne porozumieť tým vonkajším udalostiam.
But this has changed now.
A toto sa teraz zmenilo.
We understand better what is going on.
Lepšie rozumieme tomu, čo sa deje.
And it fits perfectly with our model.
A úplne to zapadá do tej našej línie.
So that way we can take now in a better fashion those stories and be more precise of what is happening in our time.
A preto vieme presnejšie vlastne sa pozerať na tie biblické príbehy a aplikovať ich do dnešnej doby.
And then I suggested to you,
a ja som dala návrh,
talking about a gathering and a scattering prophet,
hovoriac o zhromažďovaní a rozptýlovaní,
that along with these prophets we also have to include Ellen White in this principle.
Spolu s týmito prorokmi musíme sem zahrnúť aj Ellen Whiteovu.
Ellen White was a prophet for her time.
Ona bola prorokom pre svoju dobu.
Which is from 1844 onward.
Od 1844 a ďalej.
But the scattering in specific started in 1863.
Ale rozptýlenie začalo v 1863.
So she's the prophet for this time period.
Ak ona je prorokom pre túto dobu,
and she will talk for her time period.
Tak ona hovorí do svojej doby.
So we will have, at the end of the world, we will have to approach her writings.
Na konci sveta musíme pristupovať k jej písmam.
And consider time and circumstances when she had written something.
A zvážiť čas a okolnosti, kedy to písala.
And I suggested that when she wrote the Great Controversy in 1888,
ja som hovorila, že keď ona napísala Veľký spor v 1888,
she wrote it for the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Napísala to, mali vlastne stretnúť s nedeľným zákonom v 1903.
And if A.T. Jones wouldn't have come and stood before Congress,
a keby A.T. Jones neprišiel a nepostavil sa pred Kongres,
it would have been passed.
Už by prešiel nedeľný zákon.
And the loud cry would have come.
A prišlo by hlasné volanie.
Because we know the third angel wanted to come in 1888 as well.
My vieme, že tretí anjel chcel zostúpiť v roku the other angel, no?
The empowerment of
ten tretí anjel má byť zmocnený v 1888.
The third angel's message was rejected at that time.
Ale to posolstvo tretieho anjela bolo odmietnuté.
Which is Wagner and Jones at that time.
Ktorí niesli Wagner a Jones.
So, now I lost my track. So this would have all happened and Christ would have returned right then and there.
Toto by sa všetko udialo a Kristus by už prišiel.
That's the great controversy.
To je ten veľký spor.
But this didn't happen.
Ale sa to nestalo.
And so years later,
a roky neskôr,
we approach her writings.
Prichádzame k jej spisom.
And we need to look at the time and circumstances she wrote it in.
A musíme sa pozrieť na čas a okolnosti, ktorých to písala.
Because now we're in a gathering time.
Sme v čase zhromažďovania.
Things with this gathering and the gathering times are different.
Tie veci z zhromažďovania, rozptýľovaní sa dejú inak.
Ellen White pointed out herself even.
Aj Ellen Whiteová o tom píše.
So one thing to add to this,
Jednu vec, ktorú by som k tomu pridala,
when we have always a gathering prophet and a scattering prophet,
keď máme zhromažďujúceho proroka a rozptylujúceho,
when we know that in 1989
my vieme, že v 89.
there starts a gathering time period,
začína zhromažďovanie.
what should we expect? What is the Lord raising up again?
Čo by sme mali očakávať? Čo Pán Boh pozdvihuje? Prophet.
There should come a
Mal
prophet.
by prísť prorok.
So we see also here again a prophet
Vidíme znova proroka,
who is gathering God's people now again
ktorý zhromažďuje Boží ľud
for this time period.
na tento čas.
And I suggest that this is this movement
A ja hovorím, že to je toto hnutie,
who actually will tell the world what is going on.
ktoré povie svetu, čo sa deje.
First the church, then the world.
Najprv cirkev, potom svet.
We're not going to talk further about that. There are more details.
Nebudem o tom viacej hovoriť, je tam viac detailov,
But that was recorded last year in Italy.
ale toto sa natáčalo minulý rok v Taliansku.
You can just go ahead and watch it.
Môžete si to pozrieť.
I like saying that because then I don't have to explain it. So I'm taking some of the things away now.
Niečo vymažem.
Now we will go a further step.
Takže pôjdeme trošku ďalej.
Okay, so we know more or less how to study.
Takže vieme, ako študovať.
We know about the last puzzle piece which was missing for us.
Vieme o tom poslednom kúsku, ktorý nám chýbal.
We know now that we need the Bible and the newspaper.
Vieme, že potrebujeme Bibliu a tomu noviny alebo správy.
Just this thing.
You don't need this? I mean,
Okay, that. We might refer back to it. So we said that when the priests want to give a message to the Levites in the world,
Povedali sme, že keď kňazi chceli dať posolstvo Levitom alebo do sveta,
they don't only just know about biblical stories. They shouldn't know just about biblical stories
nemali poznať iba vlastne biblické príbehy
or Adventist history.
alebo dejiny adventistov,
They also need to know about the external events and how prophecy is fulfilling right now
ale potrebujú poznať aj tie externé udalosti a to, ako sa proroctvo naplňa práve teraz,
in order to reach the world.
na to, aby zasiahli svet.
So what came in 2018?
Čo prišlo v 2018?
So in Italy we received the message on time,
V Taliansku sme dostali posolstvo o čase,
that we need to have the element time again in our history.
že znova potrebujeme mať určitý časový prvok v našich dejinách.
But I suggested that this is not part of this last puzzle piece
Ale ja stále hovorím, že toto nie je súčasťou tej poslednej pucle,
because time doesn't essentially have something to do with external events.
pretože čas až tak veľmi nemá čo dočinenia s vonkajšou udalosťou.
Like November 9th, 2019,
Ako 9. november 2019,
we don't know what is going to happen there externally yet.
my ešte nevieme, čo sa má udiať, aká vonkajšia udalosť.
We often use that by using methodology and stories.
My len sa snažíme to vidieť z pohľadu tej metodológie a príbehov.
So of course you can do time sailing based upon external events,
My nemôžeme vlastne predpovedať nejakú udalosť alebo predpovedať čas bez vonkajšej udalosti.
just as much you can do it on internal events.
A tak je to aj s vnútornými udalosťami.
So that's why I'm saying this is not the last puzzle piece.
This is not.
Time is not the last puzzle
Preto hovorím, že
piece.
čas nie je posledná pucla.
But later in that year,
Ale neskôr toho roku,
it was September, October,
v septembri, oktobri,
a sister from Australia
sestra z Austrálie
presented her studies in the school in Arkansas.
prezentovala svoje štúdia zo školy v Arkansase,
And
vo
from-
škole Arkansase.
And from that moment on, this message has been carried to every ministry in this world, every language we have in this movement.
A odtedy vlastne toto posolstvo sa nieslo všade do sveta, kde existuje toto hnutie.
And this message which was presented includes a lot of studies.
A toto posolstvo zahrňa dosť veľa štúdia.
It starts with Acts 27.
Začína so skutkami 27.
Acts 27.
SK.
K,
SK.
SK, and then 27.
Mhm.
So it starts with Acts 27,
Začína so skutkami 27.
and I believe Sister Monica will be presenting that
Monika toto plánuje preberať
and the rest of the camp meeting.
potom, keď ja odídem.
And from that, from that study, you will get a number 273.
Z tohto štúdia dostaneme číslo 273.
So one researched this number, or this number was researched.
Takže toto číslo vlastne sme ako keby skúmali.
And interesting was that we came to a date
Zaujímavé bolo, že sme objavili dátum,
which is 273 BC.
273 pred Kristom.
And what is happening in this year
A čo sa stalo v tomto roku?
is that Egypt will send its ambassador to a new rising nation.
Bolo to, že Egypt vlastne poslal svojich veľvyslancov k novému národu, ktorý práve prichádzal k moci.
And who is that at this time period?
Kto to bol, kto prichádzal k moci v tomto čase?
It's pagan Rome.
Bol to pohanský Rím.
So through Acts 27, coming to this number,
Skrze skutky 27 sme prišli k tomuto číslu.
we came to the beginning of pagan Rome,
A
the
my
rising.
sme vlastne našli začiatok alebo povstanie pohanského Ríma.
And we see the rise of Rome also, I believe, in Daniel 8.
Vzrast Ríma vidíme aj v Danielovi 8.
And this is the wrong chart. This is the 8052 chart I need. I don't know if you're familiar with the quote,
Neviem, či poznáte ten citát,
but Ellen White says that all controversies will rise.
ale Whiteová hovorí, že staré spory znova ožijú.
And interesting is that a lot of the controversies the Millerites had to face in their time,
Je zaujímavé, že mnoho sporov, ktorí museli čeliť Milleriti,
we have to face in our own time.
znova im musíme čeliť.
And one of the controversies was,
Jeden z týchto sporov bol,
where does pagan Rome come from?
odkiaľ pochádza pohanský Rím.
Does it come from the four horns or the four winds we find?
Prichádza to z tých štyroch rohov alebo z tých štyroch vetrov.
The Millerites understood it comes from the four winds,
Milleriti chápali, že prichádza od štyroch vetrov.
the same as we do.
My tomu tiež tak rozumieme.
But some people claim that pagan Rome comes of one of the horns of Grecia.
Ale niektorí ľudia tvrdia, že ten pohanský Rím prichádza z jedného z rohov Grécka.
So interesting is though, even though the Millerites believed it comes from the winds,
Napriek tomu, že Milleriti verili, že prichádza zo štyroch vetrov,
why would they depict this horn, pagan Rome, which goes all the way here,
prečo tu to vlastne ukázali ten pohanský Rím, ktorý vychádza ako keby z Grécka?
why would they depict it coming out of a horn?
Prečo to ukázali, že to vychádza z jedného z tých rohov?
So what happened was the following.
Čo sa stalo, bolo toto.
Who was the leader of Grecia?
Kto bol vedúci Grécka?
It was Alexander the Great. And when he died, what happened?
Keď zomrel, čo sa stalo?
Rozdelilo sa na 4 časti kráľovstva.
Was divided in four.
It was divided by four. Four horns.
Na 4 rohy.
Rome does not come out of one of these four territories.
Rím nepochádza z jedného z týchto štyroch teritórií.
Rome is here.
Je tu.
Rome.
R.
So this is Rome.
To je Rím.
Does not come out of the horns, it comes out of the winds.
On nepochádza z jedného z tých štyroch rohov, ale z jedného zo štyroch smerov.
What are the winds in Bible prophecy?
Čo sú tie vetry v biblickom proroctve?
It can show the four direction of the earth,
Môžu ukazovať na 4 smery sveta.
or can mean worldwide even.
Alebo môže to znamenať niečo celosvetové.
So, but one of these countries
Jedna z týchto krajín,
of Alexander the Great
Alexandra Veľkého,
is Macedonian.
je Macedónia.
I hope you can read it.
Dúfam, že to viete čítať.
And when you read about the rising of Rome,
Keď čítate o povstaní Ríma,
you will see that their first encounter is with Macedonia.
vlastne ich prvý taký stret, ktorý mali, bol s Macedóniou.
And once they've conquered this part,
A keď porazili túto časť,
one horn from Alexander's,
vlastne jeden z tých rohov Alexandra,
from that moment on they would spread everywhere in the world
od tohto momentu sa rozšírili všade do sveta
and become the world power.
a stali sa celosvetovou mocou.
Therefore it is interesting,
Preto je zaujímavé,
because we see the Millerites had that exact understanding,
vidíme, že Milleriti mali toto porozumenie
and they depict it on the chart.
a ukázali to na tej karte.
Rome itself does not come from the four horns.
Rím sám o sebe nepochádza z tých troch rohov,
Yet their first target was Macedonia,
ale ich prvým cieľom bola Macedónia
and from that they became the world power,
a z toho sa stali celosvetovou mocou.
all the way till they fell again and Papal Rome came up.
Až dokým znova padli a prišiel pápežský Rím.
An interesting 2016, this was also controversy within this movement and people left over that issue.
Je zaujímavé, že v 2016 toto bol tiež spor v tomto hnutí.
Anyway, when we look at our timeline,
Keď sa pozrieme na našu časovú líniu,
how many Romes are there?
koľko Rímov poznáme? Two?
Wrong.
Zle?
A jo, 3. Jo,
There are three. So we have pagan Rome,
Pohanský Rím,
we have Papal Rome,
pápežský Rím,
and then we have modern Rome.
moderný Rím.
I'll just say the three. How do we know how this Rome comes up?
Ako vieme, ako tento posledný Rím vzrastie?
Line upon line? Is that what you said? It's by going back
Tým, že ideme naspäť
and doing this principle.
a spravíme tento princíp.
We go back and we check how did this Rome come up? How did this Rome come up?
Pozrieme, ako vznikol tento Rím a ten druhý Rím.
And then we can apply it and see how Rome comes
A
up.
potom to môžeme aplikovať a môžeme vidieť, ako v našej dobe znova vzrastie Rím.
So for us here at the end to understand how Rome comes up,
Pre nás na to, aby sme rozumeli, ako prichádza Rím,
we need to understand two histories.
potrebujeme porozumieť dvom dejinám.
This history here
Týmto,
is this history.
to je to tu, ako Rím porazil Macedóniu.
And this is the story which is in this time period.
A toto je príbeh, ktorý sa odohráva v tomto čase.
Or we call it also the story of Pyrrhus.
Nazývame to príbeh Píra. Pyrrhus. Pyrrhus, nie? Tak píšem.
So when this was presented in 2018,
Keď toto bolo prezentované v 2018,
you have Acts 27.
skutky 27,
That's where you received this date,
tam sme získali tento dátum,
or this number, and then this date,
alebo číslo, a k nemu bol daný dátum.
which brings you to the history of Pyrrhus.
A to nás privádza k Pírovi.
And Pyrrhus is the king of a Macedonian tribe, or Macedonian kingdom.
Pyrrhus je kráľom kmeňa Macedónie.
And Pyrrhus fights against Rome in this time period.
A Pyrrhus vlastne bojuje proti Rímu v tomto čase.
Pyrrhus is defeated, and Rome turns into the world power.
Pyrrhus je porazený a Rím vlastne sa stane celosvetovou mocou.
So we see this history about Pyrrhus is actually quite important.
Dejiny okolo Píra sú dosť dôležité.
So this history of Pyrrhus,
Dejiny Píra,
I hope you understand now that this is the history of first Rome coming up.
dúfam, že teraz rozumiete tomu, že to je to, ako ten prvý Rím vlastne prišiel k moci.
Sorry, I need more space. From this history,
Z týchto dejín
we came to the history of World War I and II.
sme prišli vlastne k dejinám prvej a druhej svetovej vojny.
World War II,
Just mark it like you can.
World War II.
Mhm.
Because now what happened was that if you see in the history of Pyrrhus and his struggle with Rome,
Keď vidíme dejiny Píra a to, ako vlastne bojoval s Rímom,
you could see close connections between the struggle of Russia and the Russia and Nazi Germany in World War II.
sú tam veľmi blízke podobnosti s tým, ako vlastne bojovalo Rusko s nacistickým Nemeckom.
So it also brings a study about World War II now.
Takže vlastne to prináša štúdium o druhej svetovej vojne.
And with this,
A s týmto
we also started to come to understand about World War III.
Sme začali rozumieť aj tretej svetovej vojne,
which we currently are in.
v ktorej sa už nachádzame.
Along with these studies,
Spoločne s touto štúdiou,
because now it started to go in many directions,
tam je teraz mnoho smerov, kaďaľ sa môžeme vydať.
we start now to study several revolutions,
Začíname študovať niekoľko revolúcií,
like the revolution in Russia,
ako v Rusku,
in Germany.
Nemecku, not from Paris.
From Paris, yes.
Yeah.
Or the
Okay.
let me put it here from this study.
Z tejto
From this
štúdie
parable, these revolutions come.
vychádzajú vlastne štúdie revolúcií.
The Russian one, the German one,
Nemecká,
the French one,
francúzska,
and the American one.
americká.
USA.
Mhm.
And these, then it was showed that they are all very similar in their structure.
A oni, tie revolúcie, majú určitú podobnosť, majú podobnú štruktúru.
And all of these revolutions
Všetky tieto revolúcie
would point forward to a revolution we have currently in the United States,
vlastne sú veľmi podobné revolúciám, ktorá sa práve deje v Spojených štátoch.
which is a revolution between the Republicans
A to je revolúcia medzi republikánmi
and the
a
Democrats.
demokratmi.
So we started to understand what is currently going on in the United States.
Takže začali sme rozumieť tomu, čo sa vlastne deje v Spojených štátoch.
But we also started to understand more about Russia and its part.
A tiež sme vlastne porozumeli viac roli Ruska.
At the end of the world / World War III.
Vlastne na konci, alebo tej druhej a tretej svetovej vojne.
In World War II, there's one key figure besides Hitler and Stalin.
V druhej svetovej vojne je jedna kľúčová figurka ešte okrem Hitlera a Stalina.
And it's Pope Pius.
A to je pápež Pius.
I forgot the number.
Zabudla som, I think 6.
I think so too. You see, this is also a lot of information for me.
Toto je veľa informácií pre mňa.
And I also have to learn these things. It's the 12.
Ja sama sa to ešte musím len učiť. Pope Pius XII
He's also called Hitler's Pope.
je nazvaný Hitlerov pápež.
So now this ties also in the history, or it ties also the Catholic Church into it.
A to vlastne vťahuje do toho celého deja katolícku cirkev.
And with it, Pope Pius,
Pope Pius,
he
pápež Pius,
believed in the secrets of Fatima.
on vlastne veril v tieto tajomstvá Fatimy.
Fatima we already knew from the study about 1989.
My už vieme o Fatime zo štúdie o 89.
Fatima, I don't know, do people know about Fatima here and what happened?
I didn't do it, so I don't know.
No, generally, just the
Viete, o čom bola Fatima? O čom to bolo?
have you heard of Fatima before?
Zjavenie Márie.
Márie.
Yes, so this is a pilgrimage place in Portugal,
Toto je putnické miesto v Portugalsku.
and what happened is that 3 little children
3 malé deti
had visions of an angel and then what they claimed to be Fatima.
mali
Mary.
mali videnie anjela a potom tvrdí, že sa im zjavila Mária.
So, and these kids were given instructions.
A týmto deťom boli dané určité poučenia.
And later on, the oldest one received also secrets, the 3 secrets.
A to je najstaršie dostalo 3 tajomstvá.
Anyway, the Catholic Church didn't really believe in what was happening in Portugal.
Katolícka cirkev tomu moc neverila.
But later on, the Pope started to be interested in the story there.
A neskôr pápež sa začal zaujímať o ten príbeh.
And in those secrets, which essentially are predictions.
A vlastne v tieto tajomstvá, ktoré sú vlastne predpovede.
And they are given in the year 1917.
A sú dané v roku 1917.
1917 is the year of the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia.
To je rok bolševickej revolúcie v Rusku.
And one
Predpovedí bolo,
that if Russia wouldn't, that if firstly the First World War was predicted. Sorry, I need to back up a little bit.
pardon, musím sa vrátiť ešte späť. So, firstly,
the First World War was predicted in those series of apprehension.
najprv bola predpovedaná tá prvá svetová vojna.
And if Russia wouldn't be devoted to the Pope,
A že ak by nebola vlastne, ak by what does it mean devoted, like submissed or what?
Committed. It's like
Yeah, I get the word, but it doesn't make sense to me. Like, what does it mean practically?
it's like I devote this money to the Lord. I give this money to the Lord.
Že keby vlastne Rusko nebolo odovzdané pápežstvu,
And it said if that wouldn't happen,
ak by sa toto nestalo,
bad things would happen.
tak prídu zlé veci.
And if when you look in history, then the Bolshevik Revolution started.
Potom začala bolševická revolúcia.
First World War also was there.
Prvá svetová vojna.
And Russia went into communism.
A Rusko vlastne vošlo do komunizmu.
And since then it was the call of the Catholic Church.
A odtedy bolo také volanie katolíckeho katolíckej cirkvi,
to devote Russia again to the Catholic cause.
Aby vlastne ako keby zasvetili Rusko katolicizmu.
And if that wouldn't happen,
a ak toto sa nestane,
in time and so on,
na čas a tak ďalej,
the third secret,
to tretie tajomstvo,
was about that Lucia, the lady who had received the secrets,
bolo o tom, tá Lucia, ona dostala tie tajomstvá.
She saw a man dressed in white,
videla muža v bielom,
who would receive a deadly wound.
Ktorý mal dostať smrteľnú ranu.
So the years go by,
a idú ďalej tie roky.
No pope is interested.
Žiadneho pápeža toto nezaujíma.
Pope Pius was interested.
To Piusa to zaujímalo.
He tried to do it.
Pokúsil sa o to.
That's why he allied with Hitler in Nazi Germany against communist Russia.
Preto sa vlastne spojil s Hitlerom s nacistickým Nemeckom proti Rusku.
But Germany lost the war.
Ale Nemecko strátilo a prehralo vojnu.
And it didn't work out to devote or
nepodarilo sa zasvetiť vlastne Rusko katolíckej cirkvi.
So what happened?
Čo sa stalo?
Is that those secrets were again forgotten.
Že sa zabudlo na tieto tajomstvá.
And Pope Paul II becomes Pope.
A Jan Pavol II sa stal pápežom.
And what happens with him quite early?
A veľmi v rannom čase jeho služby sa čo stalo?
What does he receive?
Čo dostal?
To consecrate Russia is the proper word. He receives a deadly wound. He's being shot.
Bol vlastne postrelený.
And to make the story a little shorter, you can Google the history.
Môžete si to pozrieť na Google, tie dejiny.
He remembers and calls for the three secrets of Fatima.
On si vďaka tejto nehode rozpomenie na tie tri tajomstvá a vlastne začne sa zaujímať o to.
He gets convicted that Mary saved him.
A je presvedčený, že ho zachránila Mária.
So he would do the work she commissioned those children in Portugal.
A on sa rozhodol, že teda ona ho zachránila preto, aby on vlastne urobil toto dielo, ktoré bolo ako keby zverené tým deťom v tom Portugalsku.
So he sees himself now that he needs to be that person who is devoting Russia again to the Catholic cause.
Čiže on seba samého vidí, že on musí byť ten, ktorý zasvetí Rusko pre katolicizmus.
And that's why John Paul II
a kvôli tomuto Jan Pavol II
unites with Reagan
sa spojil s Reaganom
in the United States.
V Spojených štátoch.
And together they bring down the wall.
A vlastne spoločne spôsobili pád komunizmu.
Because the wall is bringing down communist Russia.
To, že vlastne pomohli, aby padla ten múr, to bolo vlastne dopomohli k pádu komunizmu.
So, there's of course way more details to that.
Ešte je tam veľa detailov.
I'm just letting you know the study which was conducted in 2018.
No, chcem, aby ste vedeli, že v 2018 táto štúdia,
while we started to understand the Second World War,
sme začali rozumieť druhej svetovej vojne.
It tied in Pope Pius XII.
A sme videli tú rolu toho pápeža Pia XII, Fatimy.
And with it Fatima, where we can see there are three secrets.
Tie tri tajomstvá.
Where we started to see this sounds like our model. This sounds like a three angels message.
My sme začali vidieť, že toto je podobné tomu nášmu, to sú vlastne tri anielské posolstva.
And we came to see that there is a counterfeit to the true.
A my sme začali chápať, že vo svete sa vlastne deje, alebo ide napodobenina tej pravdy.
Satan always copies the true one.
Satan vždycky kopíruje pravdu.
This is the true one.
Toto je to pravdivé.
So Satan will also have a counterfeit three angels message.
Satan tiež má napodobeninu trojanelského posolstva.
You will have a counterfeit prophet.
A máme proroka, ktorý je vlastne falošný.
A counterfeit scattering and gathering time.
Nepravé zhromažďovanie a rozptýlenie.
And we can see that while studying Fatima.
A toto všetko vidíme vlastne v tom štúdiu o Fatime.
Those secrets.
Tieto tajomstvá.
As well as the history of the Catholic Church in this time period.
Rovnako ako aj dejiny katolíckej cirkvi v tomto čase.
Just to give a little bit of input. What was the job of the Catholic Church?
Aká bola úloha katolíckej cirkvi?
Ja pomoc.
Rule the world.
Yeah? Not quite? They're supposed to kill God's people, right?
Ich rola je zabiť Boží ľud.
They are the tool of the dragon to cast his flood behind God's people.
Oni sú tým nástrojom v tej ruke toho dráka, ktorý vlastne má, ktorý sa ženie za po Božom ľude.
They come up verse 38,
Vychádzajú v 538.
and these are the dark ages,
To je ten čas temnoty.
1260 years.
1260.
But 1798,
V 1798
they received their deadly wound.
dostanú oni smrteľnú ranu.
So this was a dark time period for God's church.
Toto bola časť temnoty pre Božiu cirkev.
But was it a dark time period for the counterfeit church, the Catholic Church?
Ale bolo to časť temnoty pre tú nepravú cirkev?
No, it was not.
Nie,
Because they were just doing their job,
pretože oni presne robili to, na čo sú určení.
killing God's people.
Zabíjali Boží ľud.
But something happened in 1776.
1776
What happened in this year?
sa čo stalo?
The Jesuit order was abolished.
Bol vlastne zatrhnutý ten jezuitský rád,
And
bol
the
rozpustený.
And Jesuits, they were the tool of the Inquisition.
Jezuiti boli vlastne tým nástrojom tej inkvizície.
So suddenly, when this order is being, when the Jesuits are being abolished,
Zrazu, keď tí jezuiti sú vlastne rozpustení alebo zakázaní,
the Catholic Church doesn't really do its job anymore.
katolická cirkev prestáva vlastne robiť svoju úlohu alebo prestáva robiť to, na čo je určená.
So they fall into apostasy.
A idú ako keby do odpadnutia.
Remember, this is all a counterfeit.
Rozumiete, toto všetko hovoríme o napodobenine.
So when you fall into apostasy, what do you do next?
A keď vojdeme do odpadnutia, čo je ďalšie?
You go into captivity.
Ideme do zajatia.
What happened 1798?
Čo sa stalo v 1798?
The Pope goes into captivity.
Pápež išiel do zajatia.
So it's the time period of darkness.
A pre nich je čas temnoty.
But what does Satan want to do?
Čo chce Satan robiť?
He wants to get his people out of captivity
On
again.
chce dostať svojich ľudí von zo zajatia.
How do you do that?
Ako?
Just the same as Christ would do it.
Tak, jak to robí Kristus.
You apply the three angels' message.
Tri anielské posolstvá máme my.
So also Satan has the three angels' message.
A on tiež dal tri anielské posolstvá.
To call them from out of darkness into his marvelous light.
Aby ich vyvolal z temnoty do svetla.
And I'm suggesting that we're in this time period where the Catholic Church is being revived.
A ja hovorím, že my žijeme v tomto čase, kedy katolická cirkev znova prichádza k oživeniu.
And that Pope Francis is doing this work of reviving the Catholic Church.
A ten pápež Francis robí presne toto dielo, že oživuje svoju cirkev.
And just like as we within Adventism have the struggle
Tak ako my v adventizme máme boj
of reviving the church
oživenia cirkvi
to God's message,
voči Božiemu posolstvu,
that some listen
aby niektorí počúvali
and some fight it.
a niektorí počúvajú a niektorí proti tomu bojujú.
We have the same struggle in the Catholic Church, in the counterfeit.
Presne v tej napodobenine Satana je teraz, to isté sa deje v katolíckej cirkvi.
We have Pope Francis who's bringing back the Jesuits.
Pápež Francis znova zavádza jezuitský rád,
He is reviving that church,
oživuje cirkev,
but some people are rejecting that revival,
niektorí ľudia toto odmietajú,
which is Pope Benedict and his people.
to je pápež Benedikt.
So the struggle we have, they have too.
Ten boj, ktorý je u nás, je u nich.
So this is the principle of the true and the counterfeit.
Toto je princíp toho, že keď ide pravda, ide zároveň aj napodobenina.
That's something we start to understand better now.
To je niečo, čo začíname teraz lepšie rozumieť.
So we understand better now what is going on within the Catholic Church.
Aj lepšie rozumieme tomu, čo sa deje v katolíckej cirkvi.
So that's I'm just giving an overview of what came out in the year 2018.
To dávam len také zhrnutie toho, o čom sa hovorilo v 2018.
With that also came out another study,
S tým prišlo aj iné štúdium,
which is the study of the information age
a to je štúdium ohľadne informačného veku
or internet.
alebo internetu.
Because the internet
Internet
is the tool for the Third World War.
je vlastne zbraň alebo nástroj pre tretiu svetovú vojnu.
In fact, we also started to understand how war is being conducted today.
My sme vlastne pochopili, ako sa tá vojna deje v dnešnej dobe.
And Russian KGB agent said about 20-30 years ago,
Ruský agent KGB pred 20-30 rokmi povedal,
his name is Yuri Bezmenov.
volá sa tak, jak povedala ona.
Yuri Bezmenov.
Can I read it? Or can I see it? Yuri Bezmenov.
He died already,
Už zomrel.
but you can watch some of his stuff on YouTube.
On už zomrel, ale dá sa ho pozrieť na YouTube.
He fled the KGB.
Unikol z KGB.
He was in several countries till he reached America at one stage.
Bol v niekoľkých krajinách, kým vlastne došiel do Ameriky.
And then he would start to open up how the KGB would work.
A tam vlastne otvoril niektoré veci o tom, ako KGB funguje.
And he gave interviews and all of this.
A dal vlastne o tom intervia.
And then some years ago he died.
Zomrel pred pár rokmi, nečul, ne?
Yeah. Let me see when he... I can see when in 1983, for example, he gave a lecture, 1985.
V 83. a 85. dával tieto intervia.
Okay, so and he says in a interview,
A on tam povedal,
born 1933, died 1993 in Canada.
he died 1990. V 93. on zomrel.
Mm-hmm. Interesting, it's chiasm 3993. I like that. So he says in an interview, it would be foolish
V tom interviu povedal, bolo by bláznivé,
to still make war on a war field.
aby sme
On a battlefield.
bojovali na ako nejakom bojovom poli.
War is different today.
Dnes je vojna už iná.
It doesn't work anymore that you shoot each other.
To už nefunguje, aby sme sa strieľali.
It's not that you drop bombs on each other anymore.
A nebudeme tu hádzať bomby po sebe.
And we already saw that
My sme to už videli
in 1989.
v 89.
We see a huge battle here,
Vidíme tu veľký boj.
but the one shot.
Padla jedna strela pritom?
No, not a single one.
Ani jedna.
What kind of war was this?
Čo toto bol za boj?
We call it Cold War.
To bola studená vojna.
Information war.
Mhm.
Because what is being used in a Cold War?
Čo sa používa v studenej vojne?
A lot of information is being used.
Mnoho informácií.
And what we can see,
To, čo sme uvideli,
that from 1989 onward,
od 89. ďalej,
or even previously,
a už aj predtým,
the world can destroy itself.
svet môže sám seba zničiť.
Russia has to press one button,
Stačí stlačiť jeden gombík v Rusku
and an atomic bomb would go towards America.
a atomová bomba preletí do Ameriky.
But a few seconds later,
O pár sekúnd neskôr
maybe a bigger bomb would be on the way to Russia.
možno ešte väčšia bomba by bola na ceste späť.
So they can quickly destroy each other.
Oni veľmi rýchlo by vedeli zničiť jeden druhého.
So this, in the Cold War, this was new to people.
V studenej vojne toto bolo pre ľudí nové.
It wasn't there that with a pressing of a button you could destroy the world.
Predtým to tak nebolo, že s tlačením jedného gombíka vieme zničiť svet.
So people were afraid of that.
A ľudia sa toho báli.
Today it's just normal.
Dneska je to už normálne.
But this is partially the reason why also countries are hesitant to use that button.
Ale toto je aj dôvod, prečo vlastne tie krajiny váhajú s použitím toho gombíka.
So they are trying to they're trying to find new methods how to win battles
Takže sa hľadajú nové spôsoby, ako zvíťaziť jeden nad druhým.
without using bombs and guns.
Bez bomb a zbraní.
And what was used in the Cold War
To, čo bolo použité v studenej vojne,
was a lot of information,
bolo mnoho informácií.
or we could also call it
Alebo
misinformation.
môžeme to nazvať dezinformácií.
So there is a very nice documentary,
Je veľmi pekný dokument,
and I know probably none of you can watch it
asi si to nikto z vás nemôže pozrieť,
because it's in English,
je to v angličtine.
but it's called Operation
Volá sa to
Infection.
Operácia infekcia.
And that will show how today war is being conducted.
A to nám ukáže, ako sa dnes formuje boj.
You don't war anymore openly,
Už sa nebojuje otvorene,
but what you do is the following.
to, čo robíme, je následujúce.
The same as we saw in 1989.
Rovnaké, ako sme videli v 89.
In 1989 was the United States against Russia.
Spojené štáty proti Rusku?
No.
Nie.
What happened?
Čo sa stalo?
The Soviet Union
Sovietský zväz
killed itself
sa sám zabil,
because its own people rose against it.
pretože jeho vlastní ľudia povstali proti nemu.
This is the new way to destroy a country
Toto je nový spôsob, ako zničiť krajinu.
or to beat it up. It's by using its own people
Tým, že vlastní ľudia tej krajiny
to throw down the government.
zvrhnú vládu.
How do you do this?
Ako to dosiahneme?
You find cracks within society
Nájdeme vlastne také škárky v spoločnosti alebo problémy v spoločnosti,
you find weaknesses,
slabosti
and those you will use
a tieto použijeme na to,
in order to start the revolution
aby sme spustili revolúciu
of that country's people
v rámci tej krajiny.
against their own government.
A vlastne ľudia tej krajiny sa postavia proti svojej vlastnej vláde.
And this is the way how you destroy that country.
Toto je spôsob, ako zničiť nejakú krajinu.
This is what happened in 1989 with the Soviet
To sa
Union.
stalo v 89.
Not one shot was delivered.
Nepadla ani jedna strela.
And interesting is, how do you poke those cracks in the society?
Poke those cracks.
Like, how do you do this constantly?
Ako vlastne, ako keby môžeme šťúrať do týchto problémov v tej spoločnosti.
In a way that no one can trace it back to you.
Takým spôsobom, aby nikto vlastne nás nevystopoval, že to ide od nás.
I'll give one example for that.
Dám jeden príklad.
That is AIDS.
AIDS.
Where does AIDS come from?
Odkiaľ pochádza AIDS?
What do you think?
Afrika.
Afrika?
Amerika.
What does he say?
Amerika.
It's America? Another option?
Laboratory.
Great. So most of you right now proved
Väčšina z vás práve ukázala,
that the method of Russia they used in the Cold War
že spôsoby Ruska, ktoré boli použité v studenej vojne,
is very effective.
sú efektívne.
Because today most of the people would say that AIDS was created in the laboratory of the US government.
Dnes väčšina ľudí tvrdí, že AIDS bol vytvorený v laboratóriu Spojených štátov,
To reduce the humanity.
aby vlastne znížili počet obyvateľstva.
But what Yuri Desmanov will tell you,
Yuri Desmond?
this Russian agent,
Čo nám povie tento KGB agent?
was that part of their time was to train their shooting and all of this typical agent stuff.
Je to, že oni určitý čas svojho času museli vlastne tráviť tým, že vlastne robili také tie vojenské cvičenia a streľby a také.
But most of the time they were supposed to create lies.
I was watching on a video, it was 25% of the time.
25? I thought more. Okay, let's
That's
back up and say just a portion of their time.
Ale určitý čas svojho času museli zasvetiť tomu, mali na to presne stanovenú čiastku času, ktorú museli zasvetiť tomu, aby vlastne vytvárali klamstvá a šírili to spread them to society. Sorry.
Okay, so they were to create lies,
Museli vytvárať klamstvá,
but such lies
také klamstvá,
where they would find these cracks in the I'm losing my language, in the society, there we go,
museli nájsť vlastne tie trhliny v spoločnosti
and in a way that it's not traceable back to that agent.
A museli to vytvoriť takým spôsobom, aby sa to nedalo vystupovať naspäť k tomu danému agentovi.
And this lie you have to mingle with a little bit of truth
A toto klamstvo musíte zmiešať s nejakou pravdou
and make it look like truth.
a urobiť, že to bude vyzerať ako pravda.
So in this Operation Infection,
Tejto operácia infekcia
they will show how this lie of AIDS came up.
ukazujú vlastne to, ako prišlo to klamstvo ohľadne ajcu.
This is actually the idea of a KGB agent in the Cold War.
Toto je vlastne, toto bol jeden nápad KGB agenta v studenej vojne.
What was done was that this lie,
To, čo bolo urobené, je, že toto klamstvo,
we'll put it here, this lie was put in the form of an article.
bol daný do článku.
So here we have Russia,
Máme Rusko,
KGB,
KGB.
and this lie will be published in a not important newspaper in India.
A toto bolo, tento článok bol vytlačený úplne takom nedôležitom článku v Indii, v nedôležitom časopise Indii.
India, like this?
India.
India. So, Russia, they lie in a not important newspaper in India.
Takže určité to svoje klamstvo dali do článku a ten vytlačili v úplne nedôležitom časopise Indie.
There appears that in the newspaper now that it says AIDS was created in the laboratories of the American government.
A tuto vlastne sa to objavilo v novinách, že AIDS bol vytvorený v laboratóriu v Spojených štátoch.
And some people pick it up.
A niektorí sa toho chytili.
And then the news traveled far.
A potom to postupne cestovalo
From India,
z Indie
it travels to Africa.
do Afriky. Tieto informácie.
And it pops up everywhere in Africa.
A v Afrike na viacerých miestach sa to začalo rozprávať.
Because Africa has a big AIDS problem.
Afrika je veľký problém ajcu.
It got so big here,
Tak sa to vlastne tá informácia tu
the
rozšírila.
news which came from India,
Že to čo tie správy z Indie,
which actually came from the KGB in Russia,
ktoré prišli z KGB Ruska,
is that a TV show
že TV show
in America
v Amerike
picked up on it.
sa to chytila,
So this is the USA.
Spojené štáty.
I'm not a good drawer, but you can get the point. This is the United States.
Mhm.
And here a TV show picks up on this news.
A oni vlastne sa chytia týchto správ tu.
Meanwhile, what happened
Medzi tým
was that in Europe,
v Európe
you have Germany
máme aj Nemecko
and you have East Germany,
rozdelené,
which is still part of the Soviet Union.
vlastne východné a západné.
In order for spreading a lie,
Na to, aby rozšírili toto klamstvo,
you need some people who would back up that lie.
potrebujeme niekoho, kto by toto vedel nejakým spôsobom podporiť.
So as this truth is spreading,
Ako sa to šírilo,
as this lie is spreading,
ako sa to klamstvo šírilo.
what Russia does, he appoints 2 doctors of East Germany
Rusko vlastne povolalo 2 doktorov vo východnom Nemecku,
who would prove this lie
ktorí by boli ochotní dokázať toto klamstvo.
and saying, yes, we tested it and so on.
A ukázali, že to vlastne testovali, skúšali.
And these 2 people were professionals, they were
A
doctors.
toto boli naozaj profesionálni lekári.
So now the news travels and it's being even confirmed by doctors,
A teraz už vlastne je toto potvrdené dokonca doktormi,
which are apart from the Soviet Union.
ktorí sú súčasťou Sovietskeho zväzu.
The United States, the TV picks up on it.
Televízia v Spojených štátoch to zoberie
Now this lie comes to America
a už je vlastne to klamstvo v Amerike.
and it starts to go wild everywhere
A rozšíri sa všade.
because it's a crack in the society.
Pretože toto je určitá taká štrbina v spoločnosti.
And you have the hippie movement in the United States,
A máme tu to hippie hnutie.
where you have those people who were against the Vietnam War,
Oni boli proti vojne vo Vietname
and they were anyway against the government and so on.
a proti vláde, proti všetkému.
So this was just perfect for them
Takže toto sa im hodilo.
because they said, yeah, the government does AIDS
A oni povedali, to naša vláda spravila AIDS.
in their lab to kill us.
A teraz nás môžu zabiť.
So this is how this traveled about
tak
AIDS.
toto cestovalo o tom ajci.
And here, you cannot trace it back to Russia,
Není možné to vystopovať naspäť do Ruska.
because technically it comes from Africa.
V podstate to prichádza z Afriky.
And interesting is that the years go by.
A prešli roky.
This is not in a few months.
Toto nie je, že za pár mesiacov.
This takes years and years.
Toto trvalo naozaj dlhé roky.
But there is a difference between the United States and Russia.
Ale rozdiel medzi Spojenými štátmi a Ruskom.
The United States wants immediate results,
Spojené štáty chcú okamžité výsledky.
while Russia invests in the future.
Rusko investuje do budúcnosti.
They are slow and patient.
Sú pomalí a majú trpezlivosť.
And what Putin, Russia, has as an advantage right now
Putinová výhoda teraz
is that many years ago, Russia supported or invested into the future.
je tá, že mnoho rokov ešte dozadu Rusko vlastne investovalo do budúcich rokov.
By using this method.
Tým, že používali takéto metódy.
This is how America is being attacked.
A takto vlastne na Ameriku prichádzajú rôzne útoky.
All the way through the Cold War.
Cez studenú vojnu.
And it didn't stop here.
A neprestalo to vo
It
89.
continued all these years.
Pokračuje to všetky tieto roky ďalej.
Just America was so blind.
Len Amerika bola voči tomu slepa.
They completely missed it.
Vôbec si to nevšimli.
So this lie is growing for 30 years.
Toto klamstvo rástlo 30 rokov.
It's spreading everywhere.
Sa rozšírilo všade.
And then you ask somebody, where does AIDS come from?
Potom sa spýtate niekoho, odkiaľ pochádza AIDS.
And you get the answer we gave.
A dostanete túto odpoveď.
It comes from the labs from the United States government.
Z laboratórií Spojených štátov.
So the lie which was once invented,
takže to klamstvo, ktoré raz bolo už vyvinuté,
becomes truth for many people,
sa stane pravdou pre mnohých.
And in the next generation,
a v ďalšej generácii,
everyone thinks this is right.
Všetci si myslia, že toto je pravda.
And it shapes the culture of the next generation.
A úplne to vyformuje tú kultúru tej ďalšej generácie.
And this is how you have battles today.
A toto je spôsob, akým sa bojujú boje dnes.
You bring up your own you bring up the people of against its own country or government.
Prinesiete vlastne ľudí do takého stavu, že sú proti svojej vlastnej vláde a proti svojej vlastnej krajine.
And we see how it is a very effective method.
Toto je veľmi efektívna metóda.
Just today,
dnes,
since we're in the information age,
keďže sme v dobe informácií,
and we have internet now,
a máme internet,
things don't take so long anymore.
Veci už netrvajú 30 rokov.
What back then needed about 30 years to be established as true,
to, čo predtým trvalo 30 rokov,
today needs a few months or days.
Dneska tomu stačí len pár mesiacov, pár dní.
So this work of having war today, or the way how we have war today, the warfare,
ten spôsob boja dnešný,
was perfected by Russia in the Cold War.
Bol vlastne zdokonalený Ruskom v tej studenej vojne.
And today, and within a few days, they can use it.
Dneska to dokážu použiť v priebehu niekoľkých dní.
And we see that very clearly when we look at the election in 2016.
A toto veľmi jasne vidno vlastne keď sa pozrieme na priebeh volieb v 2016.
Where right now people are investigating how Russia was interfering in that election.
A ľudia teraz prešetrujú, ako Rusko vlastne malo ako v tom bolo zapletené.
And the next,
alebo vstupovalo do tých volieb.
The next thing happens.
Ďalšia vec, ktorá sa stala.
In case America realizes that this was Russia,
keď si Amerika uvedomí, že toto bolo Rusko,
what are you supposed to do?
Čo musíme urobiť?
No matter how much evidence is brought up,
to je jedno, koľko bolo na to dôkazov,
you always deny it.
Musí sa to zaprieť.
One question.
Otázka.
Have you ever heard Trump apologize?
Počuli ste niekedy Trumpa sa ospravedlniť?
How many sexual assaults he was addressed with?
On bol vlastne naozaj obvinený z mnohých sexuálnych assaults is like not rape, it's
forms of rape. It can be different levels of
rôznych sexuálnych zneužití bol obvinený.
Or other things where he didn't heed the laws of the land.
Alebo ako vlastne neriadil sa podľa zákonov amerických.
Violation of the Constitution,
Vlastne porušoval ústavu.
or where he was proved that he had connection with Russia in his time period where he was to be elected.
Alebo mu bolo dokázané, že mal spojitosti s Ruskom ešte predtým, ako bol zvolený.
He always what did I say here? He never admits it. He always rejects it.
Nikdy to nepriznal, vždy to odmietol, že to nie je pravda.
No matter how much proof there is given.
To je jedno, koľko je na to dôkazov.
That's a method the KGB agents were using.
To je metóda KGB agentov.
Always deny it.
Vždy popierať.
So this is a little bit the way war is being conducted today.
Toto je spôsob, akým sa teraz vedie boj.
It is finding the cracks in the society.
Treba nájsť skulinku v spoločnosti.
Using these cracks.
Použiť túto štrbinu.
To split the country.
Aby sme rozdelili krajinu.
Among each other.
V rámci samej seba sa krajina rozdelí.
And you split it by introducing information.
A je to tým, že sa vnesú informácie,
which are lies,
ktoré nie sú pravdivé,
combined with a little bit of truth.
A sú spojené s pravdou.
You will have a person who will back that lie up.
Budeme mať človeka, ktorý nám toto klamstvo potvrdí alebo potvrdí.
And a person who will also push forward with that.
A potom potrebujeme niekoho, kto s tým pôjde dopredu, kto to proste pretlačí.
That is perfected warfare today.
Toto je zdokonalený spôsob boja.
Not one bomb drops.
Ani jedna bomba nepadne.
The thing is, Russia did well.
Rusku sa v tomto darilo.
But America is also quick to learn.
A Amerika sa rýchlo učí.
They're using the same method.
A používajú rovnaký spôsob.
And we see that this method was used.
A vidíme, že tento spôsob bol použitý.
In the presidential election of Donald Trump.
V voľbách Donalda Trumpa.
We'll talk more about that.
O tom budeme ešte hovoriť.
But that's why we see a country split.
A preto vidíme dnes rozdelenú krajinu.
Republicans against Democrats.
Republikáni a demokrati.
And the Republicans will win.
A republikáni vyhrajú.
Another thing to establish that we are having an informational war.
Ďalšiu vec o tom, že máme informačný boj.
Then the Third World War.
Tretia svetová vojna.
You know, myself till recently.
Ja sama až donedávna.
We were always thinking that the Third World War is about to start.
Sme si mysleli iba, že ešte má začať tá tretia svetová.
And we would expect that a lot of wars would break out and whatsoever.
A mysleli sme, že naozaj prepuknú také veľké vojny.
But we have to see that in World War III,
ale musíme vidieť, že v tretej svetovej
you have now information war.
Ide o informácie.
It's not like a war which we saw in First World War and Second World War.
To nie sú vojny, aké sme videli v prvej a druhej svetovej.
Interesting is in the First World War,
zaujímavé je, že v prvej svetovej
new forms of weaponry is introduced.
Je vlastne zavedený nový spôsob zbraní.
It's the First World War where gases were used to kill people.
Tam začali používať plyn.
But interesting is also
tiež je zaujímavé,
that the First World War is the first war
prvá svetová je prvá vojna,
where war was also conducted in the air.
Kedy sa vlastne začala vojna diať vo vzduchu.
Before it was on land and sea.
Preto to bolo na zemi a na mori.
But now there are also airplanes being used.
Ale teraz sa už používajú lietadlá.
So in World War II,
druhej svetovej,
airplanes were well established.
Sa už naozaj zdokonalili lietadlá.
But what we're seeing after World War II,
to čo vidíme po druhej svetovej,
in the Cold War,
a studenej vojne,
we see how space is becoming also war zone now.
Vidíme, že space, you mean like really high space? Or
universe.
Vlastne ako aj vesmír sa stáva miestom boja.
We see the race to the moon.
Vidíme
Russia and America, the race who is getting first to the moon.
Sú vlastne ako keby závody o to, kto bude prvý na mesiaci.
Or what we also can see that there's another race currently going on.
A ďalší závod, ktorý sa deje
about the North Pole.
Ohľadne severného póla.
Because the North Pole is melting.
Pretože ten sa roztápa.
Means that the ice is leaving.
To znamená, že ten vlastne ten ľad ako keby uniká stade.
And who belongs to country which is underneath the ice?
Komu patrí tá krajina pod ľadom?
So there's a race about that country.
Teraz je aj, you mean, I think I didn't say it right.
So the
Under
North
the
Pole?
ice there's land, that's what you mean?
Yes.
Tam pod tým ľadom je zem a že komu patrí tá zem, o to ide.
Or you could call also a lot of oil fields
Alebo rôzne ropné polia,
or natural gas.
alebo tie plyny.
And people want this to make money.
Ľudia toto chcú kvôli peniazom.
So there's a controversy of who does this area belong to.
Takže je stále nejaký spor o nejakú zem, že komu bude tá zem patriť.
So the war has changed.
Ten boj sa zmenil.
Its location and its method has changed.
Zmenilo sa miesto boja a zmenila sa aj metóda.
When we look at the statue,
Keď sa pozrieme na tú sochu,
what metal is Greece?
z čoho je Grécko, z jakého kovu? Brass.
What? Brass. And what was used a lot in this time period?
Čo sa veľa používalo v tomto čase? Aký kov?
It was brass.
Bola to meď.
You could call it also the brass age.
Bolo to medený vek.
A lot of the weapons were also brass.
Mnohé zbrane boli z medi.
What metal is Rome?
Z čoho je Rím?
Pagan Rome. Is iron.
Zo železa.
What did they use for their
Čo
weaponry?
používali ako zbrane?
Iron,
Bol to kov.
because it's the Iron Age.
Je to kovový vek.
So when we come down to our time,
Keď prídeme do nášho času,
what is our age called?
ako sa nazýva náš vek?
Information Age,
Náš vek sa nazýva informačný vek.
at least since 1989.
Od 89.
So what would we think? How should the weapons look like?
Čo myslíte, ako by mali vyzerať tie zbranie?
They will look like information.
Budú vyzerať ako informácia.
Okay. I'm not quite sure what to say at the moment. Where to go next? Time is up. So we will stop here.
Tu skončíme.
And I gave an overview.
Dala som vám také zhrnutie
Let's summarize.
a skúsime to ešte dať dokopy.
So far we have looked at the structure, the model,
Pozreli sme sa na tú štruktúru alebo model.
and we saw that in a fractal, the priest,
Videli sme, že vo fraktáli tých kňazov
we have the same structure.
máme rovnakú štruktúru.
And we showed how you come to this fractal.
Ukázali sme, ako prídeme k tomuto fraktálu.
And I told you from the beginning that I believe we're in the midnight cry
Ja som vám povedala, že ja verím, že sme v polnočnom volaní
of the fractal of the priest
kňazov
since 2018.
od 2018.
We went over here
Išli sme sem,
and we showed that the Lord is painting a picture of the end of the world.
ukázali sme, že Pán Boh robí obraz na konci sveta.
The last puzzle piece which we were missing,
Ten posledný kúsok, čo nám chýbal,
we were given in
nám
2018.
bol daný v 2018.
This completes our message,
Toto vlastne dáva to naše posolstvo do plnosti,
so we can move forward
aby sme sa mohli pohnúť vpred
after our harvest is completed
a aby naša žetva sa mohla dokončiť.
and give the message to the Levites and the world.
Aby mohla ísť s Levítom a pracovníkom 11. hodiny.
So what our duty is at the moment to learn this last puzzle piece.
Čo je naša povinnosť v tejto chvíli je porozumieť tomu poslednému kúsku pucly.
Which is to understand our time.
Čo je vlastne porozumenie nášho času.
So here I gave you a vague overview of what was studied in 2018 or presented.
Dala som vám také zhrnutie toho, čo bolo prezentované v 2018.
It starts with Acts 27,
Začína to so skutkami 27,
moves on to the beginning of Rome,
potom to prechádza k začiatku Rímu,
paralleling it with the Second and the Third World War.
čo je v paralele s druhou a tretou svetovou vojnou.
This ties in all the various revolutions
A toto nám prináša rôzne revolúcie,
which give us insight to the revolution which takes place right now in the United States.
ktoré nám dávajú taký pohľad dovnútra na revolúciu v Spojených štátoch, ktorá sa už deje.
As well, we understand our day and age,
Aby sme porozumeli nášmu veku,
how war is conducted today,
ako sa dnes deje vojna
and how Third World War will look like.
a ako vyzerá tretia svetová vojna.
This came out in 2018.
Toto prišlo v 2018.
First time was given,
Najprv bol daný čas
and through this study,
a cez toto štúdium
you will have two things popping up constantly.
sú dve veci, ktoré stále prichádzajú.
One was midnight.
Jedna je polnoc,
Sorry, three things.
tri veci.
The other one was November 9th.
Potom 9. november
And the next one
a posledná
was that 2019 kept popping up
2019.
through various structures of these reform
Cez
lines
viaceré štruktúry týchto reformných linií
and revolutions.
a revolučných.
So the conclusion was drawn
Takže my sme prišli k záveru,
that November 9th, 2019
že 9. november 2019
is midnight
je polnoc
for Adventism,
pre adventizmus,
which is the closed door
čo sú vlastne zavreté dvere
for the priest.
pre kňazov.
And we came up with November 9th, 2019,
A prišli sme vlastne s tým 9. novembrom 2019.
which is exactly 30 years to the day.
A je to úplne presne na deň,
And we know that
30 rokov.
it took 30 years for the priest to start their work.
A vieme, že bolo 30 rokov pre kňazov, aby mali prípravu na svoju prácu.
But right from the start, I'm going to say
A od začiatku poviem,
that the date is not as important
že ten dátum nie je až tak dôležitý,
as to know the message behind it.
ako vedieť to posolstvo, čo je za tým.
It's like in school,
Je to ako v škole.
the teacher tells you when the test will be.
Povie vám učiteľ, kedy bude písomka.
But obviously he's not going to tell you what's in the test.
Ale nepovie vám, čo bude v písomke.
So it's your duty that you actually have to study for the test.
A my musíme študovať na tú skúšku.
So for us, we know our test.
My poznáme, kedy máme skúšku.
Our duty is not so much to worry about this date,
My sa nemusíme báť o tento dátum,
but it is to understand what is going on in our day and age right now.
ale musíme rozumieť tomu, čo sa deje v našom veku práve teraz.
And I understand that there are several levels of understanding.
A ja rozumiem, že je viacero stupňov toho porozumenia.
Some will understand it more deeply in details,
Niektorí tomu budú rozumieť detálnejšie
and some will just understand the concept.
a niektorí len koncept.
So I suggest that this is the emphasis we are to put.
Ja hovorím, že toto je vlastne ten dôraz, ktorý my musíme dať.
Understanding what is going on right now,
Porozumieť tomu, čo sa teraz deje.
to know the date is good,
Aby sme vedeli, že ten dátum je dobrý,
but if we haven't learned beforehand,
a ak vlastne neporozumieme dopredu,
if we don't know what's going on right now with Trump and Russia
ak neporozumieme tomu, čo sa teraz deje s Trumpom a Ruskom
in the Third World War,
a v tretej svetovej vojne,
Third World, we won't pass the test on that date.
neprejdeme vlastne tou skúškou alebo nezvládneme tú písomku.
Another reason why I say time is not our last puzzle piece which was given to us.
To je ďalší dôvod, prečo hovorím, že ten čas nie je ten posledný kúsok, ktorý nám chýbal.
So 2018,
2018,
first in Italy we realized that time is important.
najprv v Taliansku sme porozumeli, že čas je dôležitý.
Few months later,
Pár mesiacov neskôr
the time is given to us
je nám daný čas.
through these studies here.
Cez tieto štúdia.
November 9th, 2019.
2019, 9. november.
And just like with the Millerites,
A tak, jak s Milleritmi,
we see that 2018 is this cry,
vidíme, že v 2018 je polnočné volanie,
like Exeter,
ako v Exeteri,
before the close of war, the close
pred
door.
záverom milosti, alebo pred zavretými dverami.
And right away, I want to also say,
Chcem povedať,
this is a lot,
toto je veľa,
lots of history,
veľa dejín,
but don't get discouraged.
nech vás to neodradí.
There's enough time to still learn the concept
Je dosť času ešte, aby ste pochopili ten koncept
and to start to understand what is going on today.
a porozumieť tomu, čo sa dnes deje.
And I think the overall concept we will still cover while I'm here.
A ten taký celkový obraz si spravíme, kým ja som ešte tu.
I have also USB stick with me,
Mám so sebou USBčko,
which has a lot of documentaries about all these histories.
ktoré nesie so sebou mnoho dokumentov o všetkých týchto dejinách.
And whoever wants them, I can give them to them.
Ak chcete, vám to dám.
And I know for some this is irrelevant because of the language,
Ja viem, pre niektorých to nedáva možno význam, lebo je to v angličtine,
but it might help some others.
ale niektorým to môže pomôcť.
Jak si to nahrajú?
But some of these things you can also Google. We will put some names on the board but I hope everyone will go ahead and Google them.
Niektoré mená dám na tabulu a dúfam, že si to pozriete na Google.
Okay, so with that I would say let's pray,
Poďme sa pomodliť.
and then whoever has questions now.
Ak máte otázky, môžeme ešte diskutovať.
Dear Father in heaven,
Drahý nebeský Otče,
you taught us that when the midnight cry or the loud cry comes,
Ty si nám povedal, že keď príde polnočné volanie alebo hlasité volanie,
that it comes with 10 times the power.
že prichádza s 10-násobkom svojej moci.
Lord, we believe that since last year we are in this loud cry,
Pane, my veríme, že od minulého roku už sme v tomto hlasnom volaní.
and we see how it is 10 times the power.
A vidíme tu 10-násobok tej moci.
And it seems much
Dá sa toho hrozne veľa.
and too little time.
A krátky čas.
Yet we believe in you and trust you,
Ale my veríme Tebe,
that you have given everything at the right time.
že Ty si všetko dal vo svojom správnom čase.
So you will also take care that we are prepared for our test.
A Ty sa o to postaráš, aby sme sa mohli pripraviť.
If we do faithfully our part.
Ak verne spravíme to, čo my môžeme.
So we ask you for blessings,
My ťa prosíme o požehnanie,
and that you, as you double the message,
keď Ty si vlastne tak zdvojnásobil to posolstvo,
you also bless our efforts and double the effort,
Ty tiež požehnáš tomu nášmu úsiliu a zdvojnásobíš ho,
that we might be prepared.
aby sme sa mohli pripraviť.
In Jesus' name
V
we thank
mene
you.
Ježiša Ti ďakujeme.
Amen.
Amen.